I'm here at the Korean National Assembly just a few hours after the inauguration of President Jae-myung, who became the 21st president of South Korea after beating the conservative candidate by about 5 percentage points yesterday. About 80% of South Koreans showed up to vote, including early voting, which is the highest turnout in about 30 years. I think this really says something about the extent to which Koreans feel frustrated and passionate about in restoring democratic institutions, a sense of stability in the country. But even though Jae-myung won by a few percentage points, there's a lot of skepticism around what his agenda will consist of going forward. Years ago, Jae-myung was quite a progressive left candidate who advocated a further relationship from the United States, closer relations with China, more engagement with North Korea. But during this election season, he presented himself as more of a centrist. He called himself a pragmatist in both domestic and foreign policies, and would pursue interest-based rather than ideological program in order to restore a sense of national unity, represent the will of the people. So during his inauguration address, he delivered a message that picked up on some of those themes. I mean, the first thing that he mentioned was he represented the whole people. I think this is really important in the context of deep polarization in South Korea, but those fears aren't going anywhere. There's a lot of work to be done, particularly in both the far left and far right, have some skepticism about what Jae-myung is going to be able to accomplish, given the really difficult economic, social divisions in the country, and especially the foreign policy environment. So there's a lot of things on foreign policy that he's going to want to do fairly quickly, but with a steady hand. The first one is going to be building up a more stable military alliance with the United States at a particular moment where questions over what's going to be happening with North Korea, what's going to be happening with Sino-US tensions is going to be coming to the fore pretty quickly here as the Trump administration turns its eye on the peninsula. The other thing that South Korea is going to need to do with a steady hand is how to balance between China and the United States. One of the key talking points of the Jae-myung campaign was that he wants to restore a set of pragmatism to foreign policy, one that's not necessarily ideologically driven, whether that's a focus on engagement with the North, whether that's focusing on the alliance first, which his predecessor Yoon Suk-yeol did, but one that is pragmatic based on the interests of South Korea. So the real question is what's going to happen with the China question, especially as the Trump administration is seeking a harder line policy in this area. As Jae-myung seeks to balance between these two great powers, there's going to be a lot of trouble coming ahead, especially as it seeks to build up its defense capabilities toward a nuclear-armed North Korea, defend against or prepare against Chinese buildup, including in the West Sea near South Korea, and then also balance the need for cooperation with China in the economic domain, eventually when it deals with the North Korea issue. So there's going to be some really tricky roads ahead in the foreign policy domain. So all of these issues, domestic politics, economics, social divide, foreign policy, it has a really tough agenda going ahead just at a moment when the global order is in such shifts. We've covered a lot of this on the Carnegie website, so please check out that further for our analysis so far and more analysis coming forward. Greetings from Seoul.